Greetings one and all, this is Rhythmworks and welcome to my channel. Yes, I have been a slave to the hype. I already told you I was going to get one, PlayStation VR. I've had it for 24 hours. I'm going to let you know what I think straight after this. First of all, I am not going to show you any live PSVR gameplay footage. Why, you ask? Because it just doesn't translate well. It doesn't even make any sense. If I show you any footage, it's just going to look like me playing a bog standard game of any game with the parameters that's basically set within the screen. And it just doesn't translate well. The choruses of people basically telling you just have to try it to understand what the hype is about applies here. That's why Sony has done so many try before you buy events all over the country. In the UK, I don't know about the rest of the world, but in the UK they've been extensive in their play testing tours and what have you, so you can get a feel as to what PSVR is about, which I have to commend. I have to commend Sony for that. So I'm not going to put up any footage. What I am going to basically tell you is just the basic vibe of the console itself, how it fits, how it plays, how it looks, and my overall view on the games or the demos that are supplied with it and the games that are available in the PS Store for now. Okay, let's talk about the headset and the console itself. It retails at around £350. You can get it a little bit cheaper depending on where you shop, but right about now it is all sold out. I think in Amazon, I think the next shipment comes in around the 10th of November. So you got around another month to wait if you haven't been so fortunate to get one. Obviously, it needs the PlayStation camera to track the device and also a couple of Move controllers. Some games does support the DS4, the DualShock 4, but some games you need the Move controllers to pair up with the headset. Well, you know me, I had to make sure I get all the peripherals that I basically need to just get a full-on hands-on experience with the device. I bought two Move controllers. I bought the old ones, which retailed at around, I think it was around £30 each. But they had a newer model which retails at around £70 for the pair, which didn't make sense to me because it's the same PS3 model upgraded just by packaging. So I just bought two separate PS Move controllers at around £30 each. So I saved around a tenner on those purchases. I also got the gun casing for the Move controller, the pistol, and that retailed, I think it was around £7, £8. And I also ordered a SMG holder for the PS Move, which retails at around, I think it was around £15, but now they've put up the price to around £50. So I'm still waiting on my one to be delivered. But for the most part, I've got most of the peripherals that I basically need. In terms of games, I bought 3 games. I bought Hustle Kings VR, PlayStation VR Worlds, and I bought Rigs, Mechanized Combat League. They're still in their wrap-up because I knew that I was going to get the demo that contained VR Worlds and Rigs, and I wanted to test drive those out and see if I like them. If I like them, I'll just bust open the wrapping on those games and just go ahead with them. I haven't done so simply because I was just dealing with the demo. I was just playing the demo, and also other games that came free. Now in the PS Store, there's around 36 at the latest count, 36 games available. And I use the term games lightly because there's more than games that are available. There are some games, if you like, that are available for free. I wouldn't even call them games, I'd call them little shorts. They remind me of like the Pixar shorts that you would watch in the cinema. It's just showcasing the power of the PSVR in a nice cutesy kind of way. There were 2. One's called Invasion, which was narrated by Ethan Hawke, and the other was called Alometi, which I thought was absolutely amazing. When you play Alometi, I won't spoil it for you, but say for example you go into one of the boats that are featured in the story, you can actually put your head in the boat and look around and see what's inside it. that shit freaked me out. You know what I mean? To begin with. But that experience came a lot later, after the first game that I put in, which was Playroom VR, which is available for free. Another thing to consider is that these games are hard drive hungry. They will eat out your hard drive. I think one of the games was like around 12 gigs. Another was 18, another was 24 gigs. So they will slowly eat out your hard drive space. So bear that in mind. Now to the experience, the overall experience that I've had on the PSVR, and I can best describe it as being totally Disneyfied. Why Disneyfied, you ask? Well, I matched it with an experience that I had when I went to Disney World in California many years ago. There was this ride where you actually go into a seat and the seat is basically raised above the floor. And you notice that when you get into the seat that there's a screen, and the screen envelops you. There's no corners. Everywhere is curved. So it's like you're sitting in half a ball, if that makes sense. Half a giant ball. And then when the lights are dimmed and the image is basically plastered all over the display area, it's more or less a 180 point of view you got. But with the PSVR, you got a little bit more than 180. But that's what it reminds me of. Totally immersive. And that was just a flying simulator. And it had the added advantage of the seats moving in the direction where you're flying, and the seats basically vibrating to whatever effects is coming your way whilst you're in mid-flight. So that's what it reminded me of. That was missing in PSVR, but it still tricked the brain as to where you was and what have you. And I thought, as far as experiences go, that was one of the best experiences I've had via a PS4 and a PSVR. Another pro that I'm going to put into the PSVR's way is the variation of pricing of the launch title games that are available. Some of the cheapest games are for like around £6, and the expensive ones are around £55. And that's from the PS Store. You can get them cheaper from Amazon or Game, or wherever you get your games from, GameStop, etc. But I'm finding that even via the PS Store, the pricing of the games are varied, and I like that, because there had to be some give. There was either going to have to be a reduction of the price of the headset itself and to maintain the prices of the games, or vice versa, which they have done in this case. But they've actually varied the pricing, which is a good thing. I think it's a good thing. However, I do think that the console should have been set at a slightly lower price, maybe $325. If it was around $325, it would have been absolutely perfect. But $350, how do I consider that pricing? Well, to me, it's an investment. It's an investment for better games to come in the future, and for it to be presented in a much better light. You know what I mean? It can only improve. Now, there are cons. There are cons to this, and some are obvious and some won't be obvious because you haven't even tried it. Or some may have tried it and might agree with me. Some have tried it and may disagree with me. But this is my personal cons of the PSVR. First of all, the most common one is wires. You're going to be wrapped up like spaghetti and fucking meatballs with this shit, simply because it needs it. It needs the wiring to wire up to the processor unit, and the processor unit needs to be wired up to the PS4 so it can be powered by the PS4. That's a small con. And a slightly bigger con from my perspective, and I cannot believe that this word is going to come out of my mouth, it is resolution. Now, don't get me wrong, it's all about gameplay for me, but I have to say that the resolution on the PSVR, it's slightly shit. Slightly. I wasn't expecting a great deal out of this because I had my mind and my eyes wide open. But then when I put on the thing and I was trying to calibrate the camera to the headset, it still made some of the things blurry. And I thought, okay, put on a pair of glasses because, you know, my eyesight is not that great close up. And I tried the glasses on with it. It wasn't really a snug fit. So for some people, if they wear contact lenses, it's a breeze. If you don't and you wear glasses, it all depends on the type of frames that you have. But it's going to push back the rubber casing around the headset and you're going to get light popping in. It is best played in a darkened area, somewhat darkened area. But overall, the resolution is not that great. And some people will argue that, yeah, PlayStation VR is shit and the Vive and the Rift is better and this and that and what have you. But the thing is, there has to be some compromise in order for a consumer headset to be made available and affordable to all concerned. And I think only in the future that there's going to be updates to it, as there are updates with the PS4. So for me, it's an investment. I don't have to buy another one until they make, I don't know, a PSVR 2, which I have no doubt that they're going to make one in future. But for the most part, for now, I'll stick with this. I'll stick with it. Simply because of the experience. It's given me a whole different experience to begin with. But having said that, it's not going to be something that's going to overtake or overshadow my gaming on the PS4. That's just not going to happen. To me, the PSVR is a sideshow, but it's a meaty sideshow to the PS4 as it stands right now. For the rest of this year, 2 major purchases, this and Battlefield 1, and I'm happy. And despite all of that, you're going to ask me, is it worth buying? And my answer is, if you are at all able to try before you buy in a store, then do so. Because that's the only way you're going to understand the vibe and the hype and the experience of this thing. I cannot show you on a flat screen the experience that you're going to get. Yeah, the screen is going to mirror the turn of your head in the environment, but it's still bordered with the borders of the screen. So it's just not going to translate very well. You have to put one of these things on your head and experience it for yourself. And bearing in mind the pros and the cons that I've mentioned, it's entirely up to you. Do you know what I mean? Some people might be clearly sighted, have 20/20 vision, and might see this as a very good experience. Another thing I have to mention real quick is that if you're looking for out of this world graphics in this thing, forget it. It's not about the graphics. It really isn't. It's not about the graphics, because some games and some features and some apps are not graphic hungry, if you like, but the gameplay is extraordinary. Like Playroom VR. When I started playing that, it just reminded me of Sonic and being in the freaking game. I can't explain it to you. It's like you have to experience it for yourself. So in summary, I have bought it. I have bought 3 games. I have played demos. I've actually got a couple of games in cart in the PS Store. My vibe is, I enjoyed the experience. The resolution of the thing can be brought up a notch, but I'm hoping that they will do that in future updates. I'm hoping. But all in all, it's a different experience that is needed in gaming right now. For real, it's a different experience that is needed in gaming right now because it's static. Gaming is static because you're buying certain shooters and it's the same thing, like Mafia 3 that just came out the other day. Yeah, looks good, story plays out good, but the mechanics is the same. LA Noire, Grand Theft Auto 5. But once you start getting into that rinse and repeat mechanics of playing a game, it renders the game stagnant, in my opinion. But with PSVR, it's a whole different ball game. Do you know what I mean? Yes, there are experiences that you will go through once that you won't even go through again. And people that make horror games and games like Rush of Blood and Resident Evil 7, Biohazard, that is a game I'm definitely getting. Because playing the kitchen demo scared the living shit out of me, I have to say. The kitchen demo. If you haven't got it, for those who've got PSVRs, just dump that thing in your freaking hard drive and play that shit. It's not long, but it does what it says on the tin. But anyway, that is my roundabout take on the PSVR. Please let me know if you got one and what your vibe is, or if you haven't got one, if you're planning on getting one, yada yada yada, in the comments below. And until then, I'm going to bid you adieu. And as always, you done know the coup, whatever the game, media, platform, format, genre. Happy gaming, because that's what it's all about, my brothers and sisters, boys and girls. And until I catch you on the next one, please, gamers, stay blessed. Magan.